It's late December 2025, one of those weird weeks where half the world is pretending to work and the other half is already mentally on vacation. Christmas lights blinking, families arguing over travel plans, parents stress-wrapping gifts at 3 a.m. Meanwhile, across the internet, something else entirely is brewing. Not mistletoe, not Mariah Carey, but rumors, sharp ones, slicing through royal and Hollywood gossip feeds like ice. On one side of the Atlantic, Montecito, California, Meghan Markle, barefoot in a cashmere throw aesthetic, is rolling out what Netflix swears is her big brand comeback. Soft lighting, reclaimed wood, organic teas that probably cost more than the GDP of a small village. She's trying to sell authenticity, compassion, I'm just like you, but also very curated vibes. On the other side of the ocean, London, rainy, cynical, and fully caffeinated. And in a YouTube studio somewhere in that gray maze, Piers Morgan, a man who has never once whispered a thought in his life, allegedly preparing to drop something wild, something tied to the one topic Meghan's critics have whispered about for years, the surrogacy rumors. And before you ask, yes, we're talking rumors, whispers, speculation, sources say, insiders claim, that whole messy ecosystem where half the world is convinced they know the truth and the other half is screaming, leave her alone. If you're new to royal scandal culture, welcome. Grab tea, maybe subscribe while you're here. It gets chaotic. Now, to understand why this moment feels like a plot twist 3 seasons in the making, you have to understand the Piers and Meghan saga, because this isn't just media beef, it's personal history, career fallout, and a lingering sense of I'll prove I was right eventually. Once upon a time, yes, we're doing fairy tale narration now, Meghan was still on Suits, not yet Duchess material, not yet on Oprah, not yet the patron saint of kombucha. She met Piers for drinks in a London pub in 2015. According to him, they vibed, talked Hollywood, exchanged messages. Then Meghan meets Harry and, according to Piers, poof, ghosted, vanished, like she'd never sat across from him nursing a martini. Piers took that personally, and from that point forward, he became one of her loudest critics, loud in the way only British breakfast television can be, which is saying a lot. Fast forward to 2021, Meghan goes on Oprah. Racism allegations, suicidal ideation claims, family dysfunction aired to millions, global sympathy wave. And then the very next morning, Piers goes on Good Morning Britain and says, in the bluntest way humanly possible, I don't believe a word she says. Cue absolute chaos. 57,000 complaints to the regulator. Meghan allegedly filing her own complaint. Co-workers confronting Piers live on air. Cameras rolling. Twitter frothing like a shaken Pepsi bottle. By sunset, Piers walks off set and never comes back. ITV's stock takes a hit. Media outlets cheer. Meghan fans gloat. Piers fans call him a martyr for free speech. And whether you loved him or hated him, you knew one thing. This man would wait for a moment to prove he wasn't the villain of his own story. Which brings us back to December 2025 and the whispers that Piers allegedly has obtained documentation, testimony, or records tied to the surrogacy rumors people have obsessed over since Archie's birth in 2019. Important note again, Meghan and Harry have never confirmed surrogacy, have always denied deception, and official birth certificates list Meghan as the mother. No formal institution has declared otherwise. Meanwhile, the speculation crowd, the YouTubers, the TikTok sleuths, the Reddit palace theorists, have spent years zooming in on screenshots of Meghan's maternity wardrobe like forensic scientists. And now, rumor has it that Piers has entered the chat with something less meme and more material. Sources close to his production allegedly claim he's assembled what one insider dramatically called a timeline of inconsistencies. Dramatic? Yes. Suspiciously cinematic wording? Also yes. But you know what? It's Christmas. We'll allow it. The whispers get wilder. One source alleges Piers has been quietly interviewing people who were around Meghan during both pregnancies. Medical staff, PR people, palace aides, the usual suspects of royal intrigue. Another rumor claims there's hospital-related documentation that contradicts the official narrative of Archie's birth. And listen, I'm putting up massive neon signs here saying speculation, rumor, chatter. But the fact these claims are floating at all has the gossip ecosystem frothing like it just heard the Queen was actually an alien. There's also the much-discussed folding bump clip, the video where Meghan sits down and the belly appears to crease. That moment launched about 6 million YouTube sidebars and became the Zapruder film of royal conspiracy watchers. Did it prove anything? Absolutely not. Did it send people into a decade-long analysis spiral? Absolutely yes. Humans are messy that way. Now here's where things get ominous in a British thriller sort of way. Radar Online quietly reported in November that Harry and Meghan were exploring a sit-down interview with, wait for it, Piers Morgan. Yes, that Piers Morgan. The same man Meghan's supporters consider the final boss of misogynistic British media. The same man she allegedly helped get fired. Why would they even entertain that idea unless they were trying to get ahead of something? Fire doesn't negotiate with gasoline unless someone thinks an arson attempt is imminent. If you're watching this so far thinking no way, just drop a comment. The comments on this topic are always a sociological study. Let's talk motive, because scandal without motive is just bad writing. What would Piers gain from doing this now? Redemption, possibly. Vindication, definitely. He lost his biggest platform and a mountain of public reputation points over refusing to apologize. If he can prove, or even strongly imply with receipts and witnesses, that Meghan misled the world about something as fundamental as pregnancy, he doesn't just win a debate, he rewrites his own downfall as hero arc material. Now let's talk stakes for Meghan, because this is where it gets Shakespearean. Her entire brand reboot hinges on authenticity. She wants to be the global lifestyle confidant, the relatable mom who sips matcha and shares candlelit secrets about vulnerability. If Piers torpedoes authenticity, the brand sinks instantly. Nobody buys wellness advice from someone they think lied about childbirth. The whole "I'm real" campaign melts like cheap chocolate. And then there's Harry. Poor Harry, the man caught between two worlds like a red-headed Hamlet. Rumors floating around Montecito suggest he didn't have full knowledge about the pregnancies, if surrogacy was involved. Again, rumor, speculation, whispers with more question marks than answers. But imagine the emotional math if that were true. Harry gave up his home, his crown-adjacent future, his regiment, and his grandmother's legacy because he believed he was protecting his wife and their children. If he finds out she lied, that's not scandal, that's tragedy. At the constitutional level, yes, we're going there, royal succession law doesn't treat surrogacy casually. If surrogacy happened and wasn't legally processed under British regulations, you don't just have family drama, you have hypothetical succession questions, and Buckingham Palace doesn't play games with that. They barely play games with neckties. As of this moment, no bombshell has been aired on Piers' channel, no documents leaked, no hospital clerk holding up a birth ledger like it's the Magna Carta. But the rumors are thick, and people closest to the situation keep hinting that a holiday special episode of Piers Uncensored is coming. If he drops that before New Year's, what a way to end 2025. And honestly, if you're still here, you should probably subscribe. People who watch royal scandals have the attention span of seasoned detectives and the stamina of marathon runners. Where does this go from here? One of three directions. Piers actually drops evidence and Meghan's brand takes a hit that even Netflix money can't cushion. Meghan preempts it with an interview or disclosure that reframes the whole narrative and paints Piers as obsessive. Nothing drops, the rumors fade, and we've essentially watched a season finale that cut to black mid-sentence. All three are viable, all three are chaos, but something feels different this time. The timing, the whispers, the leverage, that strange Radar Online report, the way royal reporters in London suddenly went quiet when asked about surrogacy chatter. Silence in royal journalism is never accidental. It's either embargo or fear, and both are spicy. Whatever happens, the stakes are higher than just Hollywood gossip. We're talking brand reputations, marriage stability, and centuries-old constitutional tradition, all orbiting two children that didn't ask for any of this and hopefully never read the comment sections of anything. And because this is the internet, drop your theories below. What do you think? Evidence incoming? Media stunt? Smoke without fire? Are you Team Meghan, Team Piers, or Team Burn It All for the drama? Also, hit like if you've ever doom-scrolled royal gossip when you should have been doing literally anything else. Don't lie, we've all been there. Thanks for hanging out with me through this saga. Happy holidays, happy speculation season, and whatever truth eventually surfaces, may 2026 at least be entertaining. Thank you for watching.